All right, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome into another episode of Good Morning NASDAQ Live Trading Edition. Again, as always, 8:45 is our usual start time, but on Wednesdays, they let me take the reins here and we do some live trading. The first, 15, 20 minutes or so of the market open. We've got about 11 minutes or so, about coming down to 10 minutes till the market opens. Just me and Dom today. We don't have Huddy with us, unfortunately, but that is A-okay. This week's a little bit slow, or it feels a little bit slow for Dom and I. Would you agree with that statement, Dom?
Oh yeah, very much
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, the first half of January was, I think, jam-packed. The second half, not as much, but things are still moving and shaking. We still do have a couple things on the watch today. So without further ado, let's jump right in, and then we'll talk to the chat, and then we'll get the market open, and we'll go from there. Would you like to start, Steve?
That's fine.
Okay, beautiful.
Um, I don't really have much on watch. NVNI, which is popping up right now, is the main stock that I had watch on. Um, where are you? Kind of a multi-day breakout setup over the 680s area. This last little bounce off its lows has been on significantly more volume than we had on this first spike back in December. And there's room for it to move. I wouldn't be playing it for like a $12 breakout as well. We're looking to sell it much sooner than that. Um, but it's just one that kind of feels like it should be going down. You kind of on the backside of this move from last month. We bounced significantly on good volume from the twos up into the $7 area. And then the last few days just been really light volume, and the stock continues to hold up, making higher lows on the daily chart. And right now popping up, kind of feels a lot like RNAS yesterday with a similar um, kind of intradaily setup. And then the morning, which was yesterday, that it popped up a little bit before the open and started churning some volume, was the day it kind of broke out through all the levels. So maybe that's kind of just playing off of that similar theme. We'll see where it is out of the gate, but before this perk right now, I was kind of waiting for an increased volume day, which we're kind of getting right now, and holding that 575 to $6 area. So when that area starts to support, so if you pull up an intradaily and you kind of see all the tops in that area, you got that one wick through. It's been unable to, every time it spikes in the area hold, it fails and pulls right back down sub five. So if that area holds up and supports for a little bit, or at least sets a risk level there, I might give it a go on like a 5 minute high break or a morning ABCD, something like that, for a move through seven into the eights.
Beautiful.
That's it.
Yeah, one stock on watch. That's all you really need sometimes. Just need one good winner. So, um,
What are those?
yeah, what's a win? So for me, NVNI, I don't really have it on watch for me. For a long, actually, well, I mean, if I was more long bias, I'd like it. That's why I see Dom liking it. But for me, on the short side, this just looks like a headache, especially after this day two here that could come all the way back and then fade and then still hold up, right? So not on watch for me, but definitely a good watch for anything that likes volatility and possibly a move if you had higher, just because it has not shown any weakness to go lower. For me, though, my watch is also pretty short. I guess I can add a couple tickers that I'm not maybe trading today, but we're watching. So first main one is TNXP. This one will likely trade today. Technically, I'm already short from yesterday. However, I also think I'm not the only one, so this might be a little bit crowded on the short side wise. But just huge flush out of nowhere. Couldn't find any news. Couldn't find any more dilution or offering, whatever. I think it just was a mix of longs that just stop lost themselves into a panic over and over and over again until you had this huge flush from 50 all the way down to like 36. Did bounce back. Now we're gapping up somewhere in between, again, yesterday's highs and, this panic move. So I think obviously there's two scenarios here, main ones. We either go up or down. We're either going to grind our way back over the highs and probably try to retest somewhere up here in the 70s, high 60s, or we can't get over these highs and we start to roll over and go red. I do want to add to my short, but I don't. It's tough because I don't want to really wait till red green, even though I know that it truly is the last and best time to add, in my opinion, to kind of wait for that confirmation that it's actually going to go red or attempt to have a red day. And anywhere in between before that is just adding on maybe risk I don't need to take, considering it could just hold here for a few hours and then make a test to highs. At the same time, though, shorting at 46 and then risking anywhere close to 48 doesn't give me incredible risk reward either. So we're going to see how the price action looks, if it looks weaker than expected. But I'm in no rush just off pre-market to see if this wants to. Oh, I'm disconnected here. But I'm in no rush to see if this rolls over, or I'm in no rush to see if this I don't know, just get short out the open, right? So we'll see. We'll see how weak the price action is. Other gapper for me today would be OCEA. OCEA here today is really the only main gapper that's, I think, even up remotely. There's some up there like 50, 60%, but OCEA was up, close to 80, 100% at one point. And I think it has a good history, if I'm not mistaken, if I don't remember this ticker correctly. Maybe I'm thinking something different. And had a good gap and crab that day. But fairly crappy ticker from my understanding, just clearly looking at the chart. This thing's just been bled like you usually see from top left to bottom right. And so we're looking at this one for a possible gap or crap. Ideally, it doesn't sell off any lower, though. Like if this starts fading below 55.50 into the open, I'm definitely not going to like it. But so far, it looks like it's holding just fine sideways right here. So we'll see. Other than that, I do have Fannie Mae on watch for a possible breakdown. I'm kind of hoping it doesn't.
I like that too.
What's up?
I like that too. I was looking at that chart this morning when I was sitting down.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, there's more price action to be had here, but if this bounce can't really start getting back into the sixes and starts rolling over, we'll kind of have this bouncing ball where it, as it's run up, it pulls, it bounces again. Each bounce is slightly smaller until it has some kind of break. Ideally through the low fives, and then sell and panic off into maybe the mid fours, maybe four best case. Kind of did it here, but this is not nearly as extreme. Just like one bounce, and then didn't even have a second bounce and just broke through, and then consolidated. So we'll see. But that's pretty much it. We've got about 4 minutes for the market open.
I did grab a starter on NVNI into the 570 area on that pullback, just kind of risking wide to red green or green red, and then
Nice little dip.
We'll treat the open kind of like I'm not in it and look for some sort of continued support. And if this volume's going to churn, and what was the volume the other day? Yeah, I don't think we're doing another 300 mil day, but as long as it's pushing, like I think it's going to do more than 40, I feel pretty good about it. So we'll see out of the gate what type of volume we get. That even seems like a stretch, but
Very
not
nice.
one that I want to hold and build into and sell tomorrow. It's more of if we get a quick speed through 750 or 8, that probably feels pretty good. Kind of similar. And I had a pretty good run the other day from the 1s to the 5s. So we'll just gauge out of the gate what type of momentum and volume is there. But I do have a starter.
Very nice. Yeah, good little dip and then good pop back to let you know you got a good start there. Okay. A couple more minutes to the open. What's going on in chat? A lot of good mornings. Good morning. How we doing? Fantastic Wednesday. January's almost over. Question for us, SLXN for a day too short. I don't think so. I think SLXN looked like quite a pain in the butt yesterday. Technically
Nice
did not
gapper.
gap in. What's up, Tom?
It was a nice gapper if you swung it overnight.
Yeah, even bigger gap, or almost bigger gap than yesterday, but didn't gap and crab yesterday. Day twos, I think, have a better chance of failing just because it's, you just need that much more juice to go higher. But at the same time, I don't really love it. I'm sure it works, but it's one that I'm, in this market environment where it's kind of slower, things are not as great or as ideal how I'm used to them being. This is just not the play that I'm going to change up my, trade seeking or level of aggression to go after something like this. If this goes higher today or holds up today, then yeah, day 3 tomorrow, gone from 60 cents or 50 cents to $2, then sure, like we've got a multi-day runner and I probably should look for a first red day. But just on a gap up day 2, I'm going to try to leave it alone and not touch it. So I don't think I even, oh no, I do have a chart up of it, but I didn't even, again, probably won't trade it today. 99% chance I don't. So, Dom, do you like EVAX first green day? EVAX.
I have not looked at the chart, but my answer is no. Oh, wait, let me see.
Let me see. Oh yeah, you
250
wouldn't like it.
to 10. That's not bad. I don't remember this being a 2-day runner. I thought this was a gapper.
It really kind of was. First day really had very. I mean, I shouldn't say no volume, but
It
it's
was just
pretty
a
low.
pop before the after hours news. This one ran with ALUR.
Mm.
Um, Let me look. Uh, It's not horrible. Fits the pattern. Um, I like that more than like NALUR, something that has just a giant red candle on the daily. I just wonder if EVAX had enough interest in terms of people really caring about it to keep it on a watch list. The volume yesterday was not even $4 million volume. So maybe if it perked and showed strength and some increased volume, but this one technically wouldn't be on my list anymore due to volume requirement. Yesterday was only 700K volume.
Yeah, pretty low. Pretty low. Alrighty, that is the market open. Chat, we will get to your questions in a little bit, but let's watch the dust settle here. I'm gonna get TNXP up first. And again, I have some short, so if it gets over the highs of 58, I think at the minimum, I will cut half. Don't really want to cut all of it because I kind of started in earlier before this push for like a long-term swing idea with wide risk on like these 70s. So I still want to keep true to that idea. So there's kind of like two trades in one. There's the swing idea, and then also possible the first backside move idea. So let us see. NVNI over 650. Nice.
I can pull back towards 6 or slightly under 6. I don't want to see hold.
All right, nothing crazy for TNXP to start. If we can try to morning spike a little bit longer and then go low a day, I'd probably try to short some low a day, but it's only a minute. It's only 2 minutes in. So if it broke right now, I wouldn't think that's that great of an entry. But longer it holds and then rolls over, I like that much more. What are we on? We're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Attempting a sixth green day here, so might be a little tough, but definitely possible. VNI, a little pull. Volume much bigger now, though. Well, obviously it's the open, but
It's kind of the area I want to see support or hold
yeah.
for just adding into dips. I'm not much of a dip buyer. That's why that first one is small, just risking super wide in case it's strong out of the gate, and then I have to buy higher, having a lower average. But these pulls right into support, not my speed because I'm not great at managing risk when I just buy randomly. So I want to have a new risk level besides green red or pre-market low or pre-market dips like 565. Um, a new risk level down there, and I feel comfortable buying higher.
There you go. Quite the bounce backs as well. TNXP here, a little weak. I do think I want to add low a day, but this is on SSR. So let's see if I actually fill. We're trying to test the waters. We haven't technically broken yet, so it might look dumb. It could bounce, and I'm gonna be like, it didn't break low a day, but it feels pretty easy there. So it's pretty liquid. Just want to test that out. Even though it's on SSR, it might still feel just fine. But that's, of course, if it doesn't panic. Obviously, if it panics, shorts aren't getting filled. But it didn't panic there, so. All right, here we go. Back to 51. Trying to break the 51 bids. Slowly. And again, let me show you this real quick here. TNXP, just so we know what we're talking about. You can, well, one level 2 shows you it's on SSR right here. You just do a little SSR, but you can also see it that there's always an order, like, you know, 1,000th of a penny on the bid, because these people who just can't hit the bid are shorts. Not all of them. Some people do. There are augos that like to just sit on the ask, but like the only reason why someone would be forced to sit on the ask is if it's on SSR and when they're less than 100th of a penny away. Not always, obviously, but like in this case or earlier. Now there's more of a spread, but definitely some shorts in there. But we did break low a day. Let's see if we can continue, or it's a little absorb and then it comes back. Also, we haven't talked about it because it hasn't done much yet. Whoops, OCEA. Dipped and then held, now going higher. So that's good. I remember looking at it quickly out the open, having FOMO. I was kind of worried, like if this just went straight down with no bounce or no lower low to set, I probably wouldn't have taken it. So I'm glad it's going higher. But still don't really feel comfortable with any one of these lows per se. Maybe 57, but so far low a day is still the best level right now. But again, still it's like 6 minutes in. Vinny, look at this. Very nice, Dom. Why is my dash
Testing
not
the
loading?
breakout level
There we go.
right now. There's through it.
Pretty sweet.
So I'll move all risk to low day, 570.
Yeah, definitely. Good little double bottom now to use, or triple bottom, roughly.
I added
TNXP.
some on the break there,
Oh.
but we'll see how we support.
Sold some. Nice.
Good sustained volume so far this morning.
Nice. TNXP, I got some more ads off there right at 50. Actually got partial, though, when I look at my order. Again, SSR did not fill me all the way. I had to sit on the ask, like I showed you earlier. But it does look good. We'll still try to add some on red-green if we can, but I won't love it.
See if we can get a halt up here in Nivany.
That'd be pretty sweet. Didn't I halted up on was it this day, the 27th, when I went through highs of the bounce here, this day. I think this day had to have halted. Yeah, got some gaps in there. Yeah, so it's definitely a halter. Has that potential. See, all we need is one, Dom. We just need one good win.
Oh, jinx it, yeah.
Yeah, it's not over yet.
I'll
But
barely past the breakout level. If this spike gets out of control and it starts pushing it, I'll take some off. But
yeah, knowing it's price action, it could still it could work. Like the breakout technically could work for those who settle late, but those who overstay, it could just stuff.
I'm an overstayer.
You're an overstayer. Oh, yeah. All right,
But
TNXP.
when we only go 30, 40 cents past the breakout, I can't be selling that.
Yeah.
Or else breakouts wouldn't be a profitable strategy.
Hold on, be right back. My lead analyst is thinking he runs this place.
Not the lead analyst.
All right, we're back.
What was he doing?
He was playing with, I don't know, it was nail polish. Something that wasn't his, you know?
Were you painting your nails last night or this morning?
No, the fiance was.
Mm-hmm. Fiance.
Yeah. Oh gosh, OCA walked away at the wrong time. It did go low a day there, but I think I'm gonna try to hold. Well, if it does it again, I'll probably be willing to chase it. But let's see how we do here. Nice little death candle there, or I wouldn't say death candle, but certainly a possible change of momentum. So we'll see. But I still have my order on TNXP at 50 right here. So if it does bounce into me, I will fill the rest of the size that I didn't fill earlier. Okay, we have shorted OCA. I did decide to get some short. Looks terrible. I know. Let's lower the chart here. Looks absolutely awful, like chasing weakness. I am fully aware. But for those in the Clover room know that sometimes these look terrible in the moment. But then by late day, this is down another 20, 30%, and it closes at, let's say, sub 40, and then it doesn't look so bad. So it's the risk I take, but, most times it works. If it doesn't, then I'll stop doing it, and I'll adapt. But for now, we're going to roll with it. But TNXP here, come on, let's get to 50. Give me those ads. Anyways, let me check the chat. Again, the dust is settled, getting a little more comfortable now. Good hole on NVNI.
Yeah, volume's still sustaining, so
Yeah.
you never know with these if it's like liquidity trappy, if it's just going to pop through, clear out all this 680 to 720 and then stuff. But for me, I'd rather just take my chances, take a small loss or small win, or give the chance to be a big runner. It has done it in the past. Just a few days ago, I had a really consistent, nice all-day spike, I think. I mean, I hate DOS so much. Going backwards. Yeah, I'm pretty sustained run for at least the morning, so I'll give it a chance.
Did get my fills here, TNXP, on this bounce. That's cool. And again, still pretty much risking it all up here. I'm not going to move my rest of today's high day yet. I probably wouldn't do that until we go red. So there's still a chance this comes back. But which broker would you, Kyle, use for a TNXP swing short to minimize commissions? I'm sorry, they're all the same. The brokers I use that give me the availability that I need are direct access brokers, and all of them charge a per share basis. And so, right, anything under $1 or lower, the more shares you trade, the more commissions you probably rack up. It's just part of the game, unfortunately. There are some brokers I'm sure that can give you more per or pay, like it's a per dollar kind of thing. Like maybe you can short E-Trade, but I think E-Trade doesn't let you short sub dollar stocks, so it's just part of the game. And it also depends what route you use, because certain routes make it cheaper for you. Like if you add or take away liquidity, or just pay no ECNs at all. Like the route I use here for Centerpoint doesn't have any ECNs, so that helps me on fees. But That's just part of the game, unfortunately. I wish there was an easier solution, but it is what it is. LF says thoughts on CLEU China name. I mean, if you like pain,
Was that the one the other day you were telling me about?
yeah, that has this insane wash volume. Like randomly, it'll just do it millions of volume at certain levels, only to go higher. It's extended, sure, and I think a novice short seller would look like this and be like, "Oh my gosh, there's an overextended stock. Let's get the first red day." But that's just not what this is. This is just the one of the most manipulated tickers in the market that's done it. Probably like once, twice, three, four times. So yeah, of course, eventually there'll be a fifth, but like at what cost? Because we've seen some of these similar scams give you massive headaches, and although this one hasn't, it doesn't mean it can't do it later on. And so, if this is your setup that you like to trade, sure, knock yourself out. But like I've stopped trading these a long time ago. And yeah, maybe there's a world I come out of retirement, but like no bone in my body wants to. So if it dies without me and this goes back to $2, good for them. I really don't care to be a part of this for the reasons of if for those who know China pumps know exactly what I'm talking about. For those who don't know, I would urge you not to find out. It's not worth it. So, but TNXP, strong bounce back. That's unfortunate, but like I said, there could be too many shorts in this, and so naturally, I got to shake some shorts out, got to squeeze them out. D2 West says, hi, Dominic. Just wondering, since you go long so much, do you have a limit on how high the float is in order to trade?
Like too big?
Yeah, too big of a float, I'd imagine.
I look into that. It's more of just most of the time I'm not longing stuff till it's had a day or two of price action, and um so I'm not like adamantly looking at the float and putting it through a simulator to see if it's tradable. I just see if the stock can move enough in the period of time that I expect types of moves to happen in. Like, as long as there's enough range, enough consistent volume, like that's all that matters to me. A lot of times I feel like the other day we saw a float that said it was huge and it was trading like a low float. Like what matters me to me more is just the range and as long as we have volume and range, that's all I really care about. As long as I don't have to be in it for 5 weeks to get a 10% type of move. So I don't have a limit, but it's more of just what the stock is capable of. And does that make sense in the risk reward equation of the type of pattern I'm looking at?
There you go, beautiful. I know we talked about briefly pre-market, but Fannie Mae going lower, so we are, looking good for that second bounce getting weak. But again, first level wouldn't be till 523, and then next level after that is 506, and then obviously 5 is the psychological level. So we'll see there. But
good history of breakdowns after kind of the lower high bounce.
Yeah.
The last one was from 290s, ended up going down towards 2.
Yeah.
And the news is starting to fizzle on that one. There's been other articles come out saying it's not going to happen. All the catalysts that got it going.
I did see that, yeah. And it's good. It's going to be a while. It's going to be a year or two out if it even does happen. So plenty of time for this to consolidate, dip, go back lower, higher. You know what. Fernando, I recommend watching the beginning of the stream for Dom's NVNI trade. He started in pre-market, this dip here, and then at some point, I forget when you added Dom, but sold a little bit into this spike to 7, and now still in waiting for either a rip higher or stops out lower. So
Trying to hold around the breakout level right now. What is the breakout level? 686. So
yeah, right around it there. Try to test it. Momo says, so Kyle, RR on OCA is 1-to-1. Usually, yeah, gap and craps for me are not a high risk reward activity setup. They're typically, the edge for me is typically in the win rate, and the RR is something that's usually pretty wide, and so I'm okay with that because I can't find a better approach for my personal style to trade them. So yeah, I'm okay with that.
OCA getting murdered.
Yeah, looking good. Next leg lower. Here we go. Unlike TNXP, but Um, SK says, what gave you conviction on TNXP? I mean, there's a few factors. I mean, I've had a pretty good run with this one. I made pretty decent money on this huge crap day. I then made some decent money on getting short into these bounces and then covering it into this pull. This has been a typical runner that I've traded throughout my entire career, so I'm very comfortable with it. But then two, if you want to go into like the fundamentals, I can't say currently they have dilution. I mean, I know they're very dilutive, and they could certainly have the same dilution that they had back here in December, but they could be over. So I don't take my word for it. I gotta double check that. But they have a history of being very dilutive, and so there either is current dilution or dilution is coming. But again, playing that game is also dangerous because I could pound the table and say I have insane conviction because they're diluting, and it's like I don't actually have a 100% certainty if they are, which is why I'm kind of I'm giving you an answer the way I am right now. Because there's a world where me and 10,000 other shorts think the same thing, and that's what causes a squeeze higher, right? So just because there's dilution on a ticker doesn't mean it can't go up. But that is what gives me some conviction, at least specifically on this day. Like this day gapped down here because they announced more dilution, right? So there's a world that happens, but I'm not in this because I'm trying to catch more dilution. I'm just explaining the fundamental background behind this company. Isn't the healthiest, right? But some of the crappiest tickers also squeeze. So, but that's kind of the bubble, so to speak, of where I'm getting my conviction. But also ignoring anything about TNXP, just the setup alone. Like we're on 6 green days in a row. We're up from practically 24 cents to 50. Nice 100% move. Like this is just a nice run up move that, technically speaking, for any ticker to look like this, I probably would be somewhat interested. So. That's my backside move, first red day, whatever you want to call it, set up.
Pretty severe stuff there on NVNI. Looked like it was going to perk to highs and then kind of break that 665 area.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that leads to complete failure. I sold some into that pullback just to reduce risk. It feels more like a fake breakout right now. It almost looked too easy too, sitting there between like a 10 to 15 cent range going sideways at VWAP.
Yeah, don't blame you. A little bit ugly now, back below VWAP. Let's see. What's my target on TNXP? I would like for today to go red. So obviously below 46. Does it get to yesterday's lows of 36 after it kind of panicked out there? I doubt it. That was a pretty cool, just a perfect waterfall effect of like some people selling and then more selling, then people getting stopped out, and then just a massive liquidation / stop out for a lot of longs. So I think this bottom's pretty significant for at least the short term being. So I would imagine somewhere in between 46 and let's call it 36, probably 40. If this gets to 40, I'm definitely covering pieces from here. Anyways, no ACN fees for stocks even $1. Usually the fee route doesn't apply. Yes, at center point here, there is a route specifically made for sub-dollar stocks, so that I have paid 0 ECN fees on these specific entries right here. So yes, it does exist. Eduardo asks, what about SGN? Let's take a look at SGN. I mean, yeah, what about it? What do you want to... I mean, it's a runner, but there's stocks that run every day. I also think this was this a scam?
The name rings bells, like signing day or something.
Either they did a reverse split or that actually was a scam and opened up here like 200 and pulled to 90. I don't remember that though, but it could have. But yeah, I mean, it's running. Other than that, I don't have any other words or thoughts.
SLXN, whoever said the day two, whoever's going to gap up, pretty nice response to that.
Very nice, yeah. Good fade so far. All right, last couple questions here. Let's Let's see. Kyle, can you explain SSR? So it's called short seller restriction for long, SSR for short, or in short, I should say. What essentially happens, or I guess I don't know. I'll try to give you the detailed answer without going on forever. When a ticker on the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange or AMEX, anyone but OTC, really, when the stock goes down 10% on the day, it immediately triggers SSR. Now, it doesn't have to stay down 10% on the day. As long as it's traded at least one trade or one tick per se, down 10%, it will stay on SSR for the entire day and then the whole another next day until SSR is no longer triggered again. So in the event TNXP doesn't go down 10% today, SSR will be off tomorrow. If TNXP sells off down, 46 is the close. If it sells off at least 4 cents, 4.5 cents down to, let's call it 41.40, it will be down 10% today, and then SSR will be triggered for today and tomorrow. So it keeps going on until there's a singular day where it isn't down 10% or more. But because it panicked down 10%, again, it panicked from the low or the opening yesterday, or the close yesterday was 41. It touched 36.5. That's more than 10%. It's going to be on SSR all the rest of the day when it hit 10% onward, and then all day today. Now, what does that actually mean for you? If you're a short seller, you can't hit the bid. So I cannot put an order in to short shares and physically hit the best bid. I have to sit on the ask and let someone buy into my order. So any selling you see here, any selling that you see that actually takes the stock lower is long selling because it can't be shorts. Like it physically can't be. Shorts can maybe keep it down, right? There's sellers that could sit on the ask and keep it from going higher, but a physical downtick has to be a long selling. It's always funny when you see people on social media, like it's a short attack and there's like some stock down like 90% off its highs or whatever. At that point, like it physically can't be shorts. It's longs taking it lower. Sure, there are shorts that can keep it from going higher, but at some point a downtick has to take place, which would be a long selling. So
I sold all my NVNI for now. Willing to rebuy, but at this point, over $1 off the highs, well below the breakout level. Volume dwindling. But if it continues to hold low a day, go sideways, still breakout, lost small on it. So just not how the morning should start for a breakout.
yeah, doing its typical things, right? Another probably wick off the highs, unfortunately, but. All right, the last question here before we close it out. Actually, let's do two more. We'll do two more questions. On Cobra, when you can you return shares for a credit after you're done? I don't think so. I don't think any direct investor does that. When you borrow shares, you got them all day. I don't think there's no giving back.
You should be able to.
Yeah, maybe that'd be a cool thing, but I don't think they want to deal with the hassle. Throw in, how long do you both watch the market on a daily basis, on a busy day, or on average 9:30 till 4? I mean, I'm typically at my desk throughout the day. Doesn't mean I'm necessarily trading and watching the screens. But most days when I don't have anything going on midday, I'll happily just hang around my place and be well within, either a foot of my screens like I am right now, or 5 to 10 feet. So it's only when I'm traveling or have things to do that I'm typically stepping away for a longer period of time. So I don't know about you, if it's different for you, Dom, but
Is it a busy day or any day?
he said busy and average. So
Busy day, I'm here all day.
yeah,
Most days I'm here all day unless I have some other plan. I'll sit here and do something else. But most days I want to be around just in case something pops up, or just keep an eye on my watch list if anything sets up from that.
yeah, something cool happens.
Or monitoring positions, managing them.
Okay, well, fantastic. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Wait, one last question. I actually want to answer this. Fernando says, a short seller, what influence have you, the SSR factor, on your analysis? Do you prefer it, or do you not, or do you avoid it, or is it the same for you? A lot of people will want to know of it, and I want to know that their SSR is on, but I don't typically trade any different. I really don't, I don't try to necessarily enter in early. Sometimes I'll do what I did there, which is I'll try to like just test the liquidity of it, like when I shorted here before actually low day broke. But other than that, it's like I don't know. I see I get a very, what's the word? Across the broad community of traders, everyone, the general consensus is when SSR's on, they're like, they're very cautious. I don't really get any more cautious, right? I don't bet on shorts. The reason why or I don't bet on other shorts to make me money. Like I'm usually shorting stocks that longs are selling. So whether SSR is on or not, like that's how I make my money. So I really don't do much different. Anything. I don't trade it any differently, right? My trade plans are still the same. My setups are still the same, etc. So, but anyways, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. A lot of great questions today. A little bit of good live trading. Again, if you're in the Clover chat room, we'll continue to update you on the rest of these positions. We have Wine Wednesday tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. Dom and I will be there. I don't know if Huddy will be there, but if he is, great. More the merrier. And we'll see you guys then. We'll probably talk more about the boot camp later in March. Possibly talk about the whatever Wednesday we'll do a raffle in. We're definitely going to do one in February, so we'll talk more about that tonight. And any kind, wise words for them, Dom?
No, not really. Continue to trade your watch list, stay in your lane, sit back, wait for setups. Yeah, I'll be there Wine Wednesday tonight for some good discussions. So you got any questions? You're not in the Clover program, bring those for us. And we'll see you tomorrow morning as well for Good Morning NASDAQ. Hopefully Huddy will be back.
All right, beautiful. So everybody have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we will catch you all later. Peace.